Hi friends, it's Teacher Lauren. I wanted to do a storyboard, a felt story with you guys today, and I thought we could do caps for sale. All right, here we go. There once was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not an ordinary peddler who carried his wares on his back. He carried his on top of his head. First, he had his checkered cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of blue caps, then a bunch of brown caps, and then a bunch of red caps at the very top. And he would walk up the street and down the street, holding himself very still so he wouldn't disturb his caps, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." Well, one day he got up and he walked up the street and he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." But nobody wanted to buy any caps. Nobody even wanted to buy a red cap. Well, he was getting a little bit hungry and a little bit tired, and it was time for lunch, but he didn't have any money to buy lunch because he hadn't sold any caps. So he decided to go for a little walk in the country. And he walked out of the town very slowly so he wouldn't disturb his caps. And finally, he came to a great big tree. And he looked at the tree and he thought, "Ooh, that looks like a nice tree to take a little rest." So he went over to the tree and he sat down under the tree and he leaned back little by little so he wouldn't disturb his caps. And then he felt up to make sure that all of his caps were there nice and straight. First his checkered cap, and then the gray caps, and then the blue caps, and then the brown caps, and then the red caps at the very top. And they were all there and they were all in order. So he closed his eyes and he went to sleep. And he slept for a very long time. Now something happened while he was sleeping. Close your eyes.
We don't have to close.
All right, open your eyes. While he was sleeping, he woke up and he felt refreshed and rested, and he stretched up and he stood up and he felt on top of his hat to make sure that all of his caps were there. But all he felt was his checkered cap. So he got up and he looked to the left of him. There were no caps. He looked to the right of them. There were no caps. He looked behind him. No caps. He looked behind the tree. Still no caps. Finally, he looked up into the tree. And what do you think he saw?
Caps.
Oh, on every branch there was a monkey, and on every monkey there was a red or a blue or a gray or a brown cap. Well, the peddler didn't really know what to do, so first he spoke to them. He took one finger and he shook it at them and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys didn't listen. They just shook one finger back and said, "Tsk." Well, that didn't really make the peddler very happy. So this time he shook two fingers at the monkeys and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys didn't listen. They just went right back to him. Well, the peddler was kind of getting a little frustrated. So this time he shook both of his fingers and he stomped one foot and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys didn't listen. They just shook two fingers back and stomped one foot back and said, "Oh, well." By now, the peddler was really very angry. And so this time he stomped both of his feet and he shook both of his fingers at the monkeys. He said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys did not listen. They just shook their fingers and stomped their feet back, saying, Well, the peddler was so mad now that he took off his cap and he threw it on the ground. He started to walk away. But then something happened. All of the brown caps and all of the blue caps and all of the gray caps and all of the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler went over and he collected his hats and he stacked them all up and he put them back on his head. First his checkered cap, and then the brown caps, and then the blue caps, and then the gray caps, and then the red at the very top. And he walked back to the town slowly, slowly, calling, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." The end.